was in a haze. I was gonna say all the incense burning around me. I'm getting thematic for the show.
He could just throw his hand down like he's throwing down a ninja bomb and
welcome to
join.
Fine. I'll watch it. I'm smoking Phat J.
I am Matty Lapone.
I think I'm the team.
Yep.
All right, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm Rio Miranda.
And we are here to kick off the first of this year, right? Is this the
First Marvel show this year?
First
Yeah.
No. Did
Yes.
we have Loki this year?
Nope, Loki was last year.
Yeah, okay, so this is the first and only, I think, Marvel show of the year.
Yep.
The premiere episode 1 and 2 of Agatha All Along. So we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
We hope you guys did too, and we're going to get all into that. Make sure that you like and subscribe on whatever platform you're watching or whatever platform that you want to watch this on.
Because we're on all the
Get nerdy
platforms.
and all that stuff.
All of them.
All of them.
Real quick, before we jump into we always do our overalls of this. Can we talk about like how we felt about her from WandaVision?
Yeah.
Like how we felt about the character and how we felt like if they executed things correctly or whatnot?
Well, I went back after watching these 2 episodes, and
Mhm.
today I rewatched WandaVision again, and that show's great, and she is fantastic in this in that fucking show. We'll get into it. I think she's fantastic in this show too. Yeah, she's a breath of fresh air in that show. There's a few things. The other lady who's in this, that 70s show lady, was great in WandaVision too, and she's great in this too. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I really liked her in that, and I'm happy. It feels like it took too long. You know, like I wish I would have watched WandaVision before watching these 2 episodes, but I think I'm going to go back and enjoy these 2 episodes even more after watching WandaVision again.
No, she was probably the best overall character, just from an entertainment standpoint. I mean,
she's great.
I understood Wanda's journey through that show and what was going on with Vision and everything like that, but just as an overall entertaining character, she was probably the most entertaining character from WandaVision, and she had the.
Yeah, she definitely has range and depth for that character for sure.
Very much so. How about you, James?
I loved her. Like I didn't like WandaVision. I thought WandaVision had a great concept with a poor execution. I do think the last couple episodes were really strong, thank God. And God, her reveal and them doing her reveal as like a Munsters meets, just Addams Family almost meets Beetlejuice sort of music to keep with the sitcom theme was my favorite part of WandaVision. I was like, that is so smart. That is so interesting. That I really, when they said they announced this show, I was like, I guarantee you it's because they were watching WandaVision and we're like, she's so good. Is she free? Like, just give her a show. Just give her 6 to 8 episodes and let's see what she does.
So the supposed backstory on this is that Jack Schaefer, who was the head writer for WandaVision, and she's head writer for this and the showrunner for this, now that Marvel Television is officially doing show writers, was trying to write another project, and she kept trying to put the character of Agatha in other projects. And Feige just
Hey,
eventually...
no.
It's
Nothing wrong going back to the hits.
No.
If you write a series, and I'm a hater. I did not like WandaVision. It is very flawed. It's not great, folks. And she was great in it. And if everyone is saying that character that you wrote and created and the way you did it is great, then yeah, find a way to bring it back and everything.
And then Feige just said, just write a show for her. And we'll go from there. So we get this.
So on to this series. Let's do our usual. Let's just start from the top. Miranda, what were your overall feelings on episode 1 and 2 of Agatha All Along?
I loved how it played back on the original, like James was saying, you got to see her evolve herself back through where she came from. That was amazing. I'm gonna say it. I love these strong gay vibes pulling through this right now. They're amazing. They make me so happy. The everything about it is just visually really gorgeous. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Keeping to that look, and the characters all contribute something really good to it. I don't have any problems with any of the characters not bringing their A game to this. I feel like everybody really wanted to be a part of this and we're really excited to do it. And you can see that in how they're acting through this. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was ready to go back and rewatch it again because it was fun for me.
All right, James.
As always, the hater. The first episode I just hated, and it reminded. I hated the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. So if you love that, that's where I'm coming from. You know, it's again, I'm a plot and character guy. You got to give me the plot. You got to give me good characters, and I think everything works out from there. And so much of WandaVision, the first couple episodes, and the first episode of this was very gimmicky and not very good in my opinion. And so I was actually writing a terrible review for the first 2 episodes, and then the last 20 minutes of the second episode happened, and we'll get into that, but just skip to the last 20 minutes, and you're missing Audrey Plaza when I say that, and I love Audrey Plaza, but you're like, it's hopefully it pays off. So far it's not been that great, but all right. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed this a lot. Catherine Hahn seemed to be doing a completely different show than the one she was in for the first episode. And she's like going completely over the top, which I really enjoyed from her. Like, when it's revealed that everybody's just kind of playing along with her, and then she's just taking it to this other level because she's still under Wanda's spell from the end of WandaVision, then it's like, okay, that's even better for her.
Yeah.
But yes, the concept of it still being a television show was unfortunate, but it was necessary because of how WandaVision ended and that she was basically still trapped in there. So for her, she was still going to be having to go through with this.
Right.
And I'm glad that they got that out of the way 2/3 through that first episode, and now we're moving on into something that's completely different, and it seemed to be more enjoyable and better, especially with the cast that they have.
I thought, okay, so I agree with both of you when it comes to that first bit of the episode. It wasn't my favorite, and at first I was a little bit kind of like when we talked about Beetlejuice last week, where there was certain things in that where it was like, as I was going through it, I was like, oh shit, are they fucking gonna do this again? You know what I mean? Like I did. That was one thing I will say about WandaVision. I felt a little bit harsher this time. This watch was they could have crammed all that shit into at least only the first 2 episodes rather than like the first 4 of WandaVision. I'm glad they kept it to a minimum, and I think, as in Beetlejuice, like that it paid off quite a bit when it was, oh yeah, it's all these fucking people. You know, because I recognized all those people, and at first I was like, oh, did they just use those actors again to play a part in this? But then I was like, oh yeah, it's the same fucking townspeople, and yeah, they're just playing
motherfucker is
all
still
with...
trimming the same bush. He did not leave that spot. Like I laughed out loud when I saw that motherfucker trimming the exact same bush with the exact same camera angle, and I was just like, well, we know who you are for however many shows they do.
Right, and they.
Is he just listed as bush trimmer guy? Like,
well,
is that
his
thing?
His name's Herb, so
yeah, that's right. Anyway, but that part did put me off a little bit at the start, but I think the payoff with it, and honestly, one of the out loud laughs that I had was later on something. Yeah, it had something to do. I can't think of it right now, but like there was a couple of laugh out loud moments I had towards the end of that first episode, and I did like Where
she goes straight full buff.
Yeah.
She goes
Yeah.
full buff out, like walking
Oh,
across
yeah.
the street. And I was like, God damn it, would you get a better writer? Like, I was kind of mad at the episode because I was like, there have been no interesting lines, and you are trying so fucking hard to make this shit work. And it's like, and
Her rage was
so
so good though
Aubrey
while she was
Plaza's
nude.
so
That
good
was
this-
look
I
great.
wish they gave them fucking something to do, but yeah.
At least you got a nice ass to look
That's
at.
true.
while it
and
happens.
I do love the Aubrey Plaza of it all. Like, even though we don't really get it in the second episode, but I think, like you said, it doesn't really matter. And then the second episode I thought was wonderful.
I just want to watch Aubrey Plaza go from laying on the floor to standing straight up. That was
I do want to
freaking
say
amazing.
one redeeming part about that first like little detective style thing that they did was
Okay.
that it was Wanda. It was supposed to be Wanda and
Yeah.
it was dead there. Like, they didn't shy away from those things. And they even let her do the tease. Oh, is that how it is? It's like, of course this bitch is coming back. You know what I mean? Like, everybody comes back. But it's so I liked that they tied it in real nice and they didn't shy away from that, because I was a little bit afraid that they were gonna shy away because they've tried to interconnect everything. So I was a little bit afraid that they were gonna, like Hollywood normally does, go completely opposite rather than finding a middle ground, which is where we all really want. So I like that. And I really liked the second episode a lot. And I really liked a lot of the teases, which, I'm not your son, Billy thing, later or whatever it is. Just all, it was really great. Even the song. So.
Oh, song's magnificent.
Dude, they had a chant.
I
They
love
had a
the song.
fucking-
I want that as my
it's
ringtone.
a-
it's a
Buffy
little
vibes.
copy, but they straight up had a witch chant in this, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I'll shut up.
Very Buffy vibes. This
'Cause-
whole show is very Buffy vibes already.
Totally. Like, yeah, it's just like, well, it's kind of like respecting kind of the ideas a little bit. Like,
Buffy, Charmed.
we all know
Mhm.
some Wiccans,
Yeah.
Well,
Love
they
it.
and
They straight up showed the
I
practice.
there is,
love,
like,
I love the reference of any 3-mile radius, we're going to be able to find a coven of witches. Like, there's going to be witchy enough people that we're going to be able to find it. I was just like, oh my god.
Well, hey, you establish rules and you follow your own rules. That's always important for
It
any
is.
show.
Yeah.
So so the song's already posted on Vivo and they've already dropped it on YouTube. So
Great.
snag it.
I was a little, me personally, this is just being a horror person. When it started to get good, and we'll get into the things we like and don't like, it didn't fucking, I'll fight you all on this. It did not get good. It was pretty to look at, but it did not get good until like the middle of the second episode. Then it got pretty fucking good, where a lot of things sort of fell into place and started happening all at once. And I was like, holy shit, they're doing a chant. They're literally doing a witch's chant to like raise this thing. And I was like, yeah, they turned it into a pop song or fucking whatever, but it was like kind of respecting that sort of the history of the, if Wiccan is a religion or a way of life for some people, it's I really like it when people kind of respect that a little bit and try to elevate your writing to understand that, rather than just, I'll use the parts I want and I won't use the others,
Yeah. So should we go to probably the things
We can talk about the stuff we hate, because I
first?
got a little list here, and I'm gonna be bitch pudding over
Okay,
here.
bitch putting away then, and we'll just tell you you're
Fucking
wrong.
did AI write the first episode? I know you said it was a human, apparently a female human, but good lord, we've gotten. We're sticking with the goddamn WandaVision gimmick of episodes, and you pick an NCSI with a dead superhero in it, and you made it fucking boring.
It's-
Remarkable. Like, how do you do that? How do you take all those elements
It's supposed to
and
be
still have a
true
40
detective
minute
and queen.
I
of
thought it was
Eastwick.
supposed to be
Mayor of
like over
Eastwood.
the top. That's why it was like corny.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought it was meant to be like all that corny. And again, Like, it felt very weird in the moment. But later, when you realize she was just talking to Herb over the fucking thing the whole time, and she was talking to the neighbor that she doesn't like, you know what I mean, who was the bitchy, librarian and all this shit, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like Red Flag City. Like, this feels weird on purpose. This is corny on purpose. Because this isn't real life. Yep. This is people acting, and they're overacting on purpose because they're just playing along with this woman's psychotic episode.
Well, so until they revealed that they were all just mostly playing along with her, it felt weird to me because the end of WandaVision, everybody but her was freed from the hex. So why were they all in this now? Mm-hmm. And then
is this their homes? Are they just
it
does bring up questions.
They always lived there.
It's okay that they didn't give us all the answers yet.
All that was answered in WandaVision. They lived there. Wanda came in and took over the town and imprisoned all of them into the hex curse.
But would you stay?
Because Wanda left. So
yeah, I got that. But would you stay?
With the housing market, why the heck would you? Where are you going to go?
Money off that house. You're probably upside. Everybody in Westview is upside down on their mortgage.
So
right now,
they
lost $100K.
Also, wouldn't tourism have skyrocketed during that time?
It was pointed out in one of the things that they went back and watched WandaVision, and you probably weren't watching this for that reason, but the population of Westview dropped by like 10,000 between WandaVision and this in the 3 years. So, are you going to say no? Apparently, no. You're not going to fucking say.
Apparently,
a lot of people fucking left. I'm with them. I would be with them. Of like, a witch held us hostage for a couple years. I'm gonna give Idaho a try. Like, I'm just gonna fuck it.
And I'm one of those weirdos who would have stayed for the higher tourism rates. I've already paid off my house. Let's just live it up. Yeah. What else weird could happen?
I was trapped by a witch for a couple of years. That's pretty fucking big. It's.
I think it's.
Yeah, but the stories you can tell now, man.
I think, James, contrary to what you're talking about, like the fact that they use that again, okay. It might not have been your cup of tea, but a lot of people who watched WandaVision, who are coming to this, did like that they were doing that thing.
I actually, one of my favorite moments of the show so far is her going through all the wardrobes. And I thought like that was a very cool visual. I like that. It's fine that they kept the TV show gimmick. There's a right way to write it and a wrong way to write it. And I was just like, for me, the first episode was just
just glad that
and it's an amazing cast.
And it didn't just relive that trope any longer than it did. Like, I think it was long enough. And I think that the reasoning for it happening kind of made it worth the time for me personally. But, like the other things in that episode.
And it justifies it justifies having two episodes because the first episode is kind of, hey, we're connecting it now to WandaVision, and the second episode is here's our story we're trying to tell
I think they even set that up towards the end of the first episode because you get Aubrey Plaza, which again we only mention her in the second episode. Yeah. We don't even show her, so we have to establish her as what that is, especially if we're not going to show her in the second episode. And you set up apprentice dude who's going to, who's super fan at the end of that first episode too. Okay, so I think those were probably pretty necessary thing. I don't disagree with both of you that it could have been more brief and we could have smashed both these episodes into one episode, one good hour.
Yeah.
I think we really, if we cut it down, we got one good hour episode here.
But the thing is these episodes are like 40 minutes. Yeah. So I guess we're giving it higher praise than you might be thinking, if gentle viewer, because if it is 40 something, we're saying 20 minutes could have been cut out of
20
this,
minutes could have been
that's nice. That's very nice.
I don't.
All right. Does anybody have any other bitches before we get off to a suck fest on this?
You don't have. I thought you had a list. You had a list of one thing.
That was That was
no.
the-
It was
2
written-
stars.
No. It was the episode as a whole.
Was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
episode
episode
written
one
as
is
a
a
He's
whole.
been
AI?
drinking. He
So
can't count anymore.
So when Jay's posted in our message group that, man, I hate this show. I specifically asked the question: are you saying that watching the first episode, or are you saying that after you finished watching the second episode? Because when he posted that, I already knew what his biggest complaint was going to be, and that was the TV show aspect of it, because of how much he hated it in WandaVision.
It was just like it was reliving the things I dislike about WandaVision, which is this is a popular thing in Hollywood, and everybody can fucking throw shit at me, but I think history will be kind to me. Ideas are not scripts. Everybody has a fucking idea these days for wouldn't it be cool if a movie about a guy blankety blank, but nobody has the fucking script to tell you that wouldn't it be cool if a guy blankety blank blank. Having Wanda take over a town because she's grief stricken, because she lost the one love of her life, that she would kidnap a town and force them to live out sitcom scenarios is brilliant. I am so sold. It's like Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, the concept of Tony Stark is dealing with shell shock from the Avengers events. Oh my God. That's gonna be better than the Dark Knight or the Avengers. It's gonna be the greatest movie ever. Then we go and watch it and it's like, oh, it's Lethal Weapon 6. Thanks, fucko. And it's these ideas, people have these ideas that are brilliant ideas. You need the script to go with it. And I love the cast for the show. I really do. But man, that first episode, I was writing a fuck you review and then I watched the second episode. So does anybody else have any bitches before we go on? I'm gonna keep drinking.
It's a complaint and kind of a backhand phrase, I guess. It requires you to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Like,
you gotta eat some shit if you want that sandwich.
Like that. The praise toward it is that I'm happy they decided to continue that storyline with Wanda and not have her be a almost completely pointless character in a movie that she was just kind of thrown into. That could have been something else entirely and possibly more enjoyable, but it is required watching to watch this, because just watching WandaVision wouldn't necessarily give you all the details and everything that's going on, especially in that first.
At the end of WandaVision, she has ultimate power.
They kind of allude to that it's her, or no, they show her name, whatever.
Yeah.
But people, I don't think, need to necessarily know that. Because later on, when her and Aubrey Plaza are talking, she literally says, the Scarlet Witch is dead, but you can't break that spell, whatever, while she's in that dream thing. So they give you that, and you might have not watched Multiverse of Madness, but you're going to go, oh shit, the Scarlet Witch is dead? What was that in? And some nerd's going to tell you on YouTube, and you're going to go watch that if you care. But if you don't, then it doesn't really seem to matter going forward in this show.
Going forward,
but it's a good little thing for us nerds.
After the first episode, no, it's probably not going to matter as much. But for the first episode, for a lot of what you see and what takes place in the first episode, it's kind of necessary to fully understand what's going on.
I disagree. I don't think it matters at all.
What's the library scene then?
The library scene is that the Darkhold is fucking gone. Okay, no one knows. That comes from WandaVision anyways.
All the Darkholds are destroyed and burned comes from Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness.
She says that. Like, she literally says that they're burned. They're all gone. Right? She says that to her, and then she says the Scarlet Witch is dead. So those two things are the two things you need to learn from Multiverse of Madness. It's an exposition in that scene where that happens, and I don't think that makes it necessary to watch Multiverse of Madness. You do have to have seen WandaVision for sure, but I think you get most of that shit from there because the Darkhold came from there. They don't really.
Just start with Loki season 2.
Well,
so you don't want to care how she died or any of the details
even though they
surrounding
specifically
any of
say
that?
This person was crushed in the head.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't watch any of that, what you're watching so far is a show about a goofy witch and the people around her. So you could just watch it as that, I guess. It helps if you watched WandaVision and Doctor Strange, the unfortunate phase of madness.
If you didn't uh, watch either of those, one or either, I think you could skip to episode 2 and just go from there. You don't.
Some
really...
could argue you just could skip to episode. Like, it sucks because I'm a huge Audrey Plaza fan. Christensen used to make fun of me because I got into Parks and Rec like on season 1. Whatever they were selling, I think everybody that's on this has lived in or Bakersfield, California, and Bakersfield, California is this beautiful city with a lot of like weird fucking small town problems. Like if you're not from there, then you would look it up. And
it's a big city.
It's huge.
It's
It's a huge metropolis, but it has like this kind of weird hillbilly small town vibe, and everybody knows each other for one, which is fucking weird. And but Parks and Recs just felt so much like fucking Bakersfield, and I say that with love. And so Audrey Plaza just became one of those actors that she was so great in Scott Pilgrim, she was so great in Parks and Recs, where I'm just kind of a fan of hers, you know?
Well, and she so far, like this character, was also great in Legion, which I'll recommend if any of you guys are watching. You should go watch that, which I believe is on Disney now, so you can watch it.
Yeah, totally. They own everything now.
So can I correct them now, Matthew? Because this is driving me nuts.
We got
Aubrey Plaza.
Where was he?
If you call her Audrey one more time, I swear to God, I'm going to go nuts. That's my partner's name that I work with. Her name is Aubrey.
It is. You're 100% right. But I have been
driving me nuts.
That's always your excuse. The better excuse is you just don't care about people's names and you say whatever you comes to mind.
Okay, so let me give that caveat.
We just don't say it that often.
You should watch the previously on and then the second episode, and you're probably just fine.
Yeah, probably.
You
possibly.
did not watch.
But going before we move on to the good stuff, again, this goes to the conversation we've had before. This should have been one episode.
I mean, I guess because of the framing of if they are truly ditching the television show thing, there is a framing device of saying make the first episode the television connector to WandaVision. So there is an argument there, right?
There is.
Like,
but
I don't know.
But what took place in the first 2 episodes literally could have just been one episode.
Yes.
And also it goes to the TV tradition of pilot episodes tend to be longer than any other episode.
They do.
And they tend to suck. They tend to suck. The first Parks and Rec sucks.
Or things like Resident Alien, which is hilarious because if you watch the pilot episode of Resident Alien, nothing looks the same any other episode because they've changed the entire layout of the town and everything else like that.
That's a great show.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it is.
Which is okay. We as the viewer understand that.
Yeah.
I think that you have about 15 minutes in the first episode that you could have peeled through, and then you have. I mean, I liked the whole of episode 2. I don't really.
Well, why don't we go to that? Why don't we start talking about what we liked about the first 2 episodes? Because I think that'll probably be the biggest.
Is there any other parts?
Go.
Miranda, what do you got?
No, we said 20 minutes ago that we were going to talk about sucking this show off, and then it took us 20 minutes to get back to
this. This is how this goes.
You watched this show before?
No, that's fine. I'm just.
We lie when we say we're talking about the negatives and positives because it's all together.
We lie when we say we're talking about the show we're talking about.
Yes.
No, I mean,
that too.
as your top viewer.
Listen, James reviews for most of the shows that we have here would be James's review for this show right now. Like, why do you guys always talk about Guardians of the Galaxy instead of the show that you're supposed to be talking about?
Yeah.
Who writes this?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Anyways, Miranda. Yes. Miranda,
an educated witch.
Some Agatha dick. Or vagina.
Suck some Agatha. Aubrey Plaza, man, all day long. That is just it's too good. I want more of her. Please bring her back sooner. We need more of those interactions. I need that I don't give a fuck attitude. That is just stellar. We've seen it in a lot of the preview drops and everything like that. Please bring her back in sooner rather than later. I need that in my life.
Even like her more sinister and serious portions of this are really good. You know what I mean? Like she's a
like I believe that she would stab me in right after she had sex with me. She'd be like, "That was great," and I'm gonna fucking take your face.
But
fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough is all. I'll just be there. But what I'm saying is also like she's very a comic booky bad guy, but not in a bad way. Like she does those things. You know, she understands.
But that's what Agatha needs. Like Agatha needs a comic book villain, right? Like she's too big of a character to go up against somebody that would be, I think, realistic.
Okay, so let me.
Yeah, she needs somebody to rein it in because she's such a big, crazy character. Like you have to have some sort of level of crazy to weigh that out. I think
one other thing the first episode did was make Catherine Hahn this other character to balance out the full force over the top that Aubrey Plaza was going by the end of the first episode, and that we're going to see Catherine Hahn go by for the rest of the series. And then those two, anytime they're on screen, are just going to be in a competition to see who chews the scenery the most.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say another big thing that I do like is costumes in general, but specifically Catherine Hahn's costume for Agatha has evolved into the old lady Agatha Harkness costume, but it looks fucking great on her.
Yeah. The casting, there's so much they do right.
And at the end, it's so, and again, there's so many homages. A big one definitely is Wizard of Oz.
Well, they praised themselves in the episode about her costume because somebody compliments her on her new look.
The Wizard of Oz, the dark Wizard of Oz feel at the end. You know, just the simple little things. Again, those little subtle things to being a witch and Wiccan, like they take their fucking shoes off right when they get on that road. You know what I mean? Like just all these things. Even their bickering to where they don't make Agatha a good guy still. Like she was the witch trying to take over everything at the end.
Yep.
The last time we saw her. And yeah, she wants to get her power back. That's the biggest thing. But here you go. But at the same time, like, you know, she can play nice and she's willing to just take these witches' powers too at the end. Oh, okay. You know.
Yeah, come blast me. Come on, let's go.
The Ocean's 11 element of episode 2,
what was your
you son of a witch, I'm in, as I was calling it. Like I didn't really care for it because it was very repetitive of like, I'd never work with you, you son of a bitch, and then you son of a witch, and then it was like, all right, I'll do it. And so that the first half.
Yeah, but it was through the power of manipulation this time. Like, and that teen, bro, he brought receipts. He was like, I'm here, and fuck you guys. You're going to join us because
I appreciate that.
It's over for you. Whatever you tried to build in this real world out here is over. It's done.
Are tired of like that first part with the TV stuff. Like, I am so glad they didn't spend a lot of time on. Like, I already knew when that kid showed up and all of a sudden you couldn't fucking see his mouth and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was going to be the sidekick. And I was a little annoyed that they played, is he going to not go through the door and shit like that? Like, they played those cards quick and I already knew what all of them were going to be. And I'm glad they happened. And which
is why, like, me hating on the first episode and a half, the second his best moment is spoilers, folks. They open the door to the road. He runs in first.
Yeah.
He runs in first. He's like, ah!
Is that the road? Okay, let's go. We need to go.
It's like, hey, there's these scary people up here. I'm out.
And they brought along an audience point of view character, which I'm like, good for you, which is, there was so much, like, I didn't care for him either as a character, but then by the end, I really was interested in what he was doing. Oh.
Yeah. Again, everything so very Buffy.
Yeah, he didn't play second fiddle to those
Yeah.
women by the end, for sure. He was like, no, I geeked out in the beginning. Trust me, I really am a nerd, and I'm really into all this stuff. But if I have to come to win,
But again,
I will do
that
that.
small little scene where he manipulated the one girl who was in trouble online or all the bullshit, whatever.
The potions
girl, where he manipulated her, showed that he was not only a geek, but he was valuable. Okay, so then it was like.
And that's what I
Again,
loved about that character. That shit had me.
I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit with the writing on this show, because I think a lot of those things getting through so fast is very smart. Like in these 2 episodes, we got so many things out of the way, and it will be said later on if they fall back on them, but I feel like they got them out of the way so they don't have to fall back on them anymore.
Oh, I don't think
if that's the case.
I don't think you're going to fall back on them. I think this is going to be a Monster of the Week type show, though. That they're going to go to different eras of each of their lives.
Okay, the backstory stuff is going to be real important.
My thing is always just write it well.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. God damn it. Babe is a movie about a pig who wants to be a sheepdog. It's the dumbest shit in the world. It's fucking written well. It's written well. Go back and watch fucking Babe the Pig movie. It's like any story can fucking work. You just have to find out how to write it to make it work. And yeah, man, I was an episode and a half in this, and I was like, dude, fuck you, WandaVision. And then the last half hour was like, Jesus. Like, good Lord. It was, for me anyhow, it was really, there was character development, there was plot development. We saw things that I didn't know we were going to see. And I was actually genuinely excited and interested in what the characters were going to do next. So we've had this trick before, though. This human that wrote this did the WandaVision. Yes, Christensen?
Yes. Yeah, she was head writer for
Motherfucker.
Jack Schaefer.
I did not like WandaVision. I am a hater, internet. And when Vision
Surprise.
when Vision floated up during the credits and realized he was like in a TV show, was like one of the smartest moments of television we've had in the last like 5 years, where I was like, holy shit, this is really, I hated the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, but like that moment is so smart and so interesting. And that's kind of what the last 20 minutes felt like, where it was like, we go right into a witch's chant, even a witch that wasn't a witch.
Oh yeah.
That helped participate.
And she's so great. Like that 70s. I'm so glad that they brought her back. That's great.
You know, that's
another part that made me laugh out loud. Am I supposed to know the words to this song? She's just in the middle of it, and by the end, she's just kind of like, "Oh, okay, I've learned the chorus by now." Like, okay, I know. Yeah.
Well, they threw that 70s show joke in for her, because they're all standing. They're all in the basement. Cameras pan around in a circle. The potions witch makes the comment that who's going to go hide. She makes a joke. Oh, I don't.
I don't do drugs. Yeah, good point.
So it's like,
that's so
yeah.
Are we all here to do laundry?
My other note with the ending is like, I think I would have gone more horror. Like I love whatever those, what do we call them?
Salem 7.
Was that Death Eaters?
Salem 7.
Yeah, the Salem 7.
Ooh.
Yes.
And I
Didn't
I
color
am
him
intrigued.
intrigued.
It's like every time they had like a little reference to something else from Wiccan history, it was kind of like, that's nice. I'm not a Wiccan, but I know a couple of people that are,
And a
and it's
lot
like,
of that stuff is straight up from the comics. Like they have taken so much out of the very limited amount of Agatha stuff we've had. Even in WandaVision, like I went back and watched that, and there's a lot of things that have happened through that. Okay.
Yeah.
Any specific dick sucking one we want to do, or should we go into our ratings, and then we got to talk about moving forward from there?
I enjoyed.
I love that they accomplished their goal. I love that they have an impossible goal. They're all fighting and bitching, and then like, oh, monsters are coming. The living dead's coming to eat us, and oh, look at that, we actually accomplished the fucking bullshit goal that I wanted. Where I was like, as an audience member, when you make us wait 4 hours, or I'm looking at you, Lost, many seasons to accomplish your goal, it's really fucking nice when you're like, hey, I got a goal, and then they fucking just give it to you. Great, now tell us your story. So I was just like, oh my god, that was such a great moment.
James just wants to give it to him.
I enjoyed the quick reveals of where she was when she was actually going through her TV episode. Like her car was a made-up thing in her living room.
Oh yes,
that
was my first like laugh out loud moment. Actually,
that she literally kidnapped the tea.
Yeah.
Maybe this was more of a kidnapping. Yeah.
That was one.
And she was like even that, when we realized she did kidnap the team, I was like, man, she killed a dog 2 episodes ago.
I know.
It's fine. It's fine. You're not a good hero. Yes. You're not going to be a good person. But let's
I mean, she says it, but she does not seem perturbed by herself doing that at all.
No.
That's what I like about her character is just, in the end, like she's not like in any way, shape, or form does she feel remorse for doing any of the bad things maybe the things aren't real bad that she does in these 2 episodes, other than the kidnapping, obviously. But like it's just like business as usual. She is a ends justifies the means person.
Yeah, it's run of the mill business for her. Like it's exactly. Water off a duck's back.
Our villains can be heroes, but I like it when we keep our villains still villains. They might do heroic things in their villainy. Loki season 1 is all about him doing selfish shit for himself, and then he finally falls in love with himself, god damn it, and then meets God and cuts his fucking head off. Like, it's like Jesus. It's like everything Loki does in that show is from a villain's point of view, and all of it, and he's still the hero.
And Catherine Hahn's character has a very good potential to play a lot of those same parts, really. Yeah, definitely. Miranda, any last dick sucking for these 2 episodes before we go into our ratings?
I'm just ready for more of it.
All right.
I'm stoked. I think this is going to be a fun ride for sure. I think by the end of it, James may be lukewarm about it. He may not like it, but I'm hoping he'll at least be lukewarm about it.
I think it's going to get more fun as we go along. I think the things we saw in that last 20 minutes, which James likes, there will be more
shit was
more
happening,
than less of that.
And they were doing things that were kind of like also respectful of Wiccan heritage and shit. Like, so it's like they were making good media and good content that had like fleshed out characters. We're all in that room, and everybody had their own voice, and fucking monsters were coming banging in. I would have gone creepier with the monsters. They did a little. They were doing like the crab walk with one of them, and it was like, oh, that's cool. I would even gone like go fucking full Pennywise with those assholes. Just make them terrifying.
I think they were supposed to go with an elusive feel to it right now. I don't think they're supposed to be going full
it's such
Pennywise.
They start taking some big swings, so it's like, I don't know, go further with that. Where it's like, I love the moment when Vision breaks out of the sitcom. That's such a huge swing. And I mean, like,
But that's still...
when you stop and think about it, Vision could have been the first character to go full fucking Dr. Manhattan and realize he's in a movie, if you wanted to keep like pulling that out. But
that was also that was like episode 6 though.
That took a little while.
That
when he did that.
When he did that, so, but it's fine because again, these 2 episodes kind of served as one thing, and you're teasing the rest of the show. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to go hardcore into your horror or what this mysterious group of 7 are and everything else like that. You got some teases and everything like that. I think it serves perfectly for going forward.
Well, let's rate this show before we talk more about going forward because I have a lot to say. Right. So let's get into that. Let's start on the top. Miranda, rate these 2 episodes. We're going to rate them as 1 because I think they have to be rated as 1. They should have been 1 in the first place.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I do believe in the whole idea that we could have condensed some of the stuff in the first episode for sure. But I did like what they did with it. I did like the callback to it. I did like that we explained our way from WandaVision to this show. I felt that was necessary, especially for her to be able to snap out of the fact that she's been under the spell and to build that character and give her that base story. But I am excited to see where we're going to go from here because we're really starting to rev things up with them going down the road. So I think it's going to be really exciting going from here.
James?
Yeah, I as the hater as always, I was actually going to give this a 1 or a 2, my comedy of 2. But when we got to the third one, it went up a whole nother star. I'm giving it a 3. Where I don't like the first episode, and I understand the reason for the first episode, and I understand the actors doing everything they can to make the first episode work, and it just doesn't work for me. But what they set up and what they accomplished at the last 20 minutes of the second episode, I was so ready for episode 3 that like you didn't make us wait for your characters to achieve what they want. And by the way, achieve what they want is the start of a path. Mm-hmm. So it's like, no, that should have been episode 1, man, right? Like that's your whole goal is I want to get to this road that at the end of it, then you should have got there at episode 1. And when we started to get there, that's when the writing got good. That's when the characters fell into place. That's when I got really interested. I quit writing, which is always my biggest compliment to anything. I stop and I have my complete focus. So yeah, I'm excited to see the next episode, but it's only because of the last goddamn 20 minutes.
Fair enough.
I'm also going 4. James, no, I totally understand from your point of view and how much you dislike, especially the early episodes of WandaVision, that they took a trope, but then there was another show based around the trope, and the trope didn't necessarily so much work in favor of the show itself. But this first episode was a necessity to go forward if you're not just resetting the characters altogether, which I don't think resetting the characters altogether is a good idea. What they did was the best thing they could do. My issue was the disjointment was more how the non-Hex characters were interacting with her and how then she was overreacting to what they were doing, everything like that. But I enjoyed all the subtle nods and references of everything that was going on. Like you mentioned briefly, Wizard of Oz. There is a lot of Wizard of Oz references in both episodes.
There's so much.
Even to the point that she actually calls the teen Toto at one point.
There was a lot of so many things in this.
Yep.
It was 4 for me, by the way.
4 for
but no. It would have been served better as 1 episode. Yes, I think it would have been served better as 1 episode because essentially that's what that was. But while you said earlier, James, as well, that I do agree that you needed the separation between the 2 because one was her getting out, and then the other one was going forward from that point. It's a toss-up, but no. Overall, I think it worked well. It was an enjoyable beginning to something that, yes, it did make me want more right then and there.
All right.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 because I really think that the only, like, if I'm looking this as a whole, all right, I would cut 20 minutes out of it and it would be great for me. Like, I love all the nerd references in it. I love the callbacks to the things. I liked, personally, the television stuff that was going on, not only to the mayor of whatever that I didn't watch, who cares, but like the True Detective kind of stuff. Like, that was cool to me. It was a little over the top, and I got to a point in that where I was like, ooh, like there was a couple times where I was like, ooh, they're doing this too long. But other than that, I think they went through what I wanted. I love the side characters. I want to see more of them. I'm very intrigued about what's going to go forward. I have lots of ideas of things that I've seen, and I'm taking this from my, I've watched fucking everything a million fucking times. Look, I work at a fucking weed shop. We sit there and watch these movies over and over and over again. We watch these shows all the time. They're just on in the background all the time. So, these YouTube videos, all this shit. So I liked it a lot from that point of view. I do think this easily could have been one hour, solid 1 hour of content, not counting the credits of a first episode. Don't be afraid to do that too. I say on this a lot. These should be mini series or whatever. Yeah. Don't be afraid to just say, we're going to do an hour and a half long first episode. Pilot episode
Werewolf
by
Night. Werewolf by Night.
And then, but even with this, where it was if you would have just said, we're going to do an hour long first episode, and then we're going to do the second, third, and we're going to do 5 episodes instead of 6. How many is this? 8?
This is 9.
Okay, so you would have done 8 episodes, but your first one would have been an hour, and it would have ended in the same place and cut the fucking fat, and I would have got a 5 from it.
We'll see how many episodes. Are at the end, because the last 2 episodes are together as well.
Oh, they drop.
But it's also, I want to say, it's a nice compliment to the show. The first 2 episodes together is an hour and 20 minutes. So,
and only 20 minutes would have been cut.
Most of the people on this are saying, hey, cut 20 minutes off and this would be perfect. That's really nice. That's really incredible for the show.
Yes, and again, you go back and look at some of your favorite shows of all time. They were lucky to get that much of their first episode, 4/5 of their first episode that was worth a shit.
Yep.
Again, most of the time, great premise, not great writing of the first episode, but we'll fix that by hopefully the end of the first season, if you're lucky.
Lost? Lost?
Lost. Yeah, look at you.
Tina Fey said in Bossy Pants, the first episode of 30 Rock is sweaty and doesn't even know what the fuck it wants to be. And she was like, if you want to watch a good pilot, watch the first episode of Cheers. They spent a lot of time and they knocked it out of the park. She's like, the first episode of 30 Rock feels like we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. And it's
that may be
a lot of the first episodes are rough.
That may be a sad thing for this time because, when these things came out that we're talking about, there weren't a million of us going on and just shitting on it immediately after it came out and saying that it's terrible. And somebody kept spending money on it until it developed.
Yeah, could you imagine that kind of stuff coming out now, and with all of the online reviews and stuff like that? What of those shows might have been actually canceled or not gone anywhere based on?
It is a question. It is a good question.
The online community.
It's a question. It's a hard one to also answer a thing about. But I will say this: many shows have hardships first growing. And but if you're good, if you are a quality show, you will find a fan base. You totally will.
And it's also a thing where it's maybe it's a good thing because it will put more importance on writing, where you will have a Ted Lasso starting out as a fucking commercial, but it's just such a great premise that they're like, we can write it. And look, if you have not watched Ted Lasso, I'm going to tell you right now, It's one of the greatest fucking shows ever written. 100%. It is, and for it to have come from a Bud Light commercial or whatever is absolute madness. And it
Well, then me and Matthew are
behind in
missing
so
out
many shows.
because
I'll tell you.
yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what?
Well,
Jared's next thing
actually,
is
no.
gonna be
Hold on.
the first episode of
No.
fucking Ted Lasso.
Nope.
No.
Here's the reason
No.
why. That's the one we don't have.
I don't care. James has Nazi apps that'll get you wherever
I have not
you
seen
need.
it.
No.
I didn't say you've not seen it.
No, you have
That's
not
what I
seen
said.
it.
I'm gonna need you to put a hashtag in this video that says not seen it, but spelled the way that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I have not.
Have you not seen it?
Yeah.
No, not even the third.
Yay.
The third time since you've been producing this show, maybe. But the 1,000 since we've been.
Yeah.
No, your white pride website.
Yeah.
We hey, we stand with P. Diddy, all right? Fucking
Oh God.
No,
Trump-
Oh,
no,
Trump-
no, no,
God.
no. It's hashtag bend with P. Diddy. All right?
Yeah.
Bend with P. Diddy. It's not stand. You don't stand with him.
Trump-
He's got 1,000
I
things of
do
lube
believe
or
he told us
something.
that he won't quit. He won't quit. Like, I don't understand where the disconnect is. here.
Trump only surrounds himself with the best people. Oh dear
Society's terrible.
Yeah.
everybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about a few things. Okay, first of all, okay, I'm gonna bring up a little PowerPoint
Okay.
to this. Okay, first of all, that is Wanda's son Billy. 100%. That is Billy. That's Billy. That's the twin. He's older. That's Billy. Because in the comics, okay, in the comics, Mephisto tricks Wanda into thinking she has these twins. Okay, Tommy and Billy.
You and the fucking Mephisto,
No,
man.
No, this is how
this
it's
is real. This is
How
real.
many years? How many years have we been talking about Mephisto?
No, this has nothing to do with Mephisto.
this is-
other than
Okay.
That's
This is
what happened in
comics.
the comics.
This is comics.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Now, that all fell apart. The twins, all the shit that happened in WandaVision where the twins disappeared, absent of Mephisto, actually was kind of real. Okay. Then you have her fighting them in the multiverse. That's a whatever. Okay. Now, in the comics later on, they brought those kids back older, and they were like reincarnations. Where like a new Billy and a new Tommy ended up being her Billy and Tommy, but they were born from different people and all this bullshit, but they were the souls of her kids, right? Like that's
So, around the table, the plot device of he can't say his name and he can't say his backstory. What do we think that's about?
that's about not letting the audience know that we are.
Of course,
that's
well, of
Billy.
course, yeah.
I don't know that it. I don't
It's
know
called
it's
a
gonna
plot
be
device?
I got that.
as we hope.
What is the plot device?
I don't fully buy it's going to be Billy.
Okay.
And
Listen,
no,
let me give the rest. Let me give
Fine,
you
go,
the rest
go,
of
go,
my
go.
because I have more. Because Billy in the comics also is gay, is one of the most popular gay relationships with Hulkling, who could be
Sorry,
fucking
Iceman.
Scar in the fucking everything
That's ever
scheme of
Sorry, Alpha Flight.
But what I'm saying,
Did
yeah, well,
North North Star come first?
if he was lucky, he did.
If you go by
All right, I set that one up. I set that one up.
if you go by X-Men retcon, Iceman came first.
Yeah, exactly. But him and Hulkling is like one of the most famous, like well-known gay relationships in the comic books. Okay, so and he looks the fucking same as him too. He's got the same haircut. He's got the same look. Like they obviously said, here's a picture of fucking Warlock or whatever his name is. Wiccan from the comics, who looks the most like this. This guy does. So that's Wiccan.
Okay.
That's Billy. He said Billy, they tied his whatever and then it was just a heart or whatever in that thing. No, the other person. No, I'm sorry, that was somebody.
Okay.
We'll get to that. Go ahead. Hate on me.
That's not hating. That's saying
Why is
hating.
it
I'm
not
just saying, don't say believe it's Billy. So the first episode, we have that scene where she goes up to that child's room. Sees the name Nicholas Scratch. You know, the name the devil is given it sometimes and everything like that.
Which is also
Nicholas Scratch is Agatha's son, who she lost in the comics as well.
But that's the bunny.
No, that's Mr. Scratchy.
Nicholas Scratch is not Mr. Scratchy?
Nope. This is her son.
Nicholas Scratch.
This is her son. She has a separate curse on her that she cannot recognize who that is. That she has forgotten him. It has been stricken from her mind. So there's not. That's why she can't hear him when he's talking about himself, because she is not. She is not allowed to. And
let's get this straight. Smoking Phat J thinks this is Wanda's child.
Yes.
And you think this is Agatha's child.
Actual child.
But I think that Agatha's child is the rabbit, who is also the Toto in their Wizard of Oz story, because he brought the rabbit.
Well, the rabbit didn't go with him.
He brought the rabbit. He's carrying the rabbit when he left, I'm pretty sure.
He saved the rabbit.
He saved her. I set it down.
I thought he took the rabbit with him.
He ran by himself.
Yep. No, he did not bring the rabbit in the road with him.
So Matt, your theory is as gay as whoever the unnamed character in this is.
No. So it is Agatha's son, and I think that's what Agatha gains at the end of the road.
Oh, her son back.
Rather
than her power?
Rather than her power, because that's what she lost and she doesn't remember she lost.
All right.
And it's what she wants most, because otherwise, why would it be in that first episode?
Okay, I say if it's not Billy, does she not only gain, because you get everything you want, right? So it doesn't say one thing that you want.
Yeah.
She gets the kid back. If that's the case, she gets the kid back, who I think is still the rabbit. But she gets the powers too, because that 70s show mom ends up being the real bad guy, not Aubrey Plaza, and shoots her with the powers because she didn't pay attention, didn't know, and she gets the powers too because she can suck them away from her. Okay, there we go.
Dude, both of those sound like great fucking ideas, so I'm all for it.
All right. Miranda.
I have no ambition of like what the next episode. I hope that they're good.
Miranda, what do you think? Do you have anything to add to our super nerdy bullshit?
I think that there's just going to be something off the wall out of nowhere that's just going to blow both of your theories out there, and it's just going to blow everyone's mind that they're just going to throw in this wild curveball at the end that no one's going to see coming, and you're going to be like, I'm sorry, what?
I'm not going to be as satisfied if it's not mine.
Ralph Boner's going to show up.
Oh, I hope so.
We could set up the cabin in the woods board and put
100%.
Yes, let's go
on there. Like we could put them on
Mufasa.
Mufasa.
I'm a little drunk. I don't know if you noticed. Mufasa. We can put Mufasa on there.
Mufasto.
Mephisto. Fucking put Mephisto. I don't trust Mephisto.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up. Next week, we are going to be reviewing episode 3 of Agatha All Along. I mean, I think even with our scores, our scores are pretty good.
Yeah.
Look, James giving a 3 is
yeah.
pretty fucking good. That's pretty good.
It's really good.
And me giving a 4.5 is average, so.
That's where, if you're a Bakersfield 5, you're a New York 3, and vice versa.
Exactly. Yep.
You're a Dayscope 2, which means you're just as good as anything else.
We're going to be here next week. We're going to be checking out the show. And like I said, I think all of us are excited to see what's going to be happening, at least. Which is good.
Which is nice.
It is good.
Thank you, Marvel, for coming back to form that we enjoyed before and getting that other thing out of our heads.
Disney, if you're gonna buy everything, you got to get better. Like, it's cool that you want to be own all the film studios and all the intellectual properties. That's great,
Listen,
Mickey Mouse.
if
I'm
you
real proud
buy
of
a
you.
Lamborghini, you better be ready to pay for the service on a fucking
Yeah,
Lamborghini.
you got to pay for the service, baby.
You're not gonna go
That
to
didn't
a
work.
Jiffy Lube
It-
to get
it's
your
Mickey
oil
Monopoly
changed
now.
for a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You're not. You're gonna go someplace
Yeah.
where it's gonna cost 10 times that. So
Yeah.
if you bought
Or
a
Monopoly
Marvel,
Mouse. I like that.
like you're not taking a Marvel to a Jiffy Lube, motherfucker. So fucking
Yeah.
take it to the Ferrari service center.
Now, if you bought a Marvel, you're just gonna shun Fantastic Four for a couple years to value the property, so you can buy them up. You know,
Looking
real
promising.
normal business stuff there.
It's looking promising.
Make another Incredibles movie. It's like that's how you make a good Fantastic Four movie, you bastard.
We'll see how this goes.
We'll see. We'll see.
Anyway,
All right, guys. Until next week, I'm Smoking Phat J.
I am Matty Lapone.
I'm the team. Ah.
The teen. The teen. Teen.
I'm Rio
Teen.
Miranda.
No, the
Yeah.
There's an N, like Aubrey
Yeah.
and Teen. Those
Aubrey
two,
Teen.
get it?
Yeah, we'll send you.
teens
we'll
get
send you-
teens get Aubrey
we'll
applause all
send
the
it to you in
time.
the chat phonetically for next week.
We're gonna work on your
After-
sight words
after-
next week,
I
James.
prefer
James.
colors and
James
shapes.
cannot see anything right now. We're just bunch of blurs on the screen in front of us.
Listen, let's get out of here. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Future, right?
May God have mercy on us.